I've been fortunate. I've been able to enjoy the American dream. I worry, though, that the opportunity and hope are slipping away for our sons and daughters. As I watch our once great economy collapse under mounting spending and debt, I think, what kind of America will our grandchildren see? It seems to me that both parties and the entire political system are to blame.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is the President and CEO of FreedomWorks, Matt Kibbe. Hello, sir. Good to see you.
Yeah.
All right, you wrote a great piece, how Rand Paul and Ted Cruz are shaking up the Republican nomination process. So what impressed you about Paul? Then we'll go back to Cruz after that.
I actually thought it was a great speech, and it was an interesting combination of economic populism, Jack Kemp pro-growth opportunity, and he's introducing some of these civil liberties issues into the Republican Party, and I think it's a potent mix. It's freaking out the Republican establishment, but I think I liked it.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. He has a fine line to walk with his libertarian beliefs and background, both on civil rights issues or privacy issues, right, I should say, and foreign policy issues. So how does he do that without freaking out too many of not only the establishment Republicans, but the mainstream or even a little to the right Republicans?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his foreign policy, it sounds a lot more like Ronald Reagan than it does his dad, Ron Paul. And he's talking about realism. He's asking questions of whether or not we can afford to be everything to everybody. And I don't think that's isolationism. And Republicans that are arguing that have missed the point of where he's at. But it's a good question as to who are our friends. If you look at the crazy quilt that is the Middle East and our strategy in the Middle East, you don't know who the good guys are sometimes.
Well, I would hope Israel's the good guys, and I would hope that Iran is the bad guys, as they're still killing Americans and taking over capitals and supporting terrorism. So I hope Rand Paul understands that. And you're right, he's not his father, right, who said famously, "Why can't Iran have a bomb? We have a bomb. Why shouldn't they have a bomb?" I mean, that's
you won't hear Rand Paul say
no,
that.
you won't. All right, now Ted Cruz, and this speaks to what you said in the second paragraph of your piece, that for your whole adult life, and I guess all of us we could say this, the poobahs of the Republican Party have always dusted off the establishment candidate, and they always kind of get in there somehow. And with Cruz and Paul, certainly you don't have that. So Cruz, what impresses you about Cruz?
I think he's an impressive spokesperson for classic Reagan conservatism. I love the fact that he's willing to take on the Washington establishment, and his campaign operation essentially is end running the old bundler system. And that gives him independence and power that's, again, frustrating the Republican establishment.
How do Paul and Cruz, especially Cruz, I would guess, how do they overcome the automatic media onslaught that comes with being a Republican candidate, especially a Republican candidate with an impressive story? I mean, Rand Paul went to Guatemala. He treated over 100 people, gave them eye operations. You're not going to hear that in the media. Ted Cruz has a wonderful story. His parents were drinkers. They found God, Jesus in their case. And I mean, if these were liberals, these would be trumpeted. Yeah. But so how do these, whoever they are, the Republican candidates, overcome the negativity from the mainstream media?
They do it the way Reagan did it, but they have better tools. They have the internet. Go straight to the American people and tell your story directly. The reason they are both U.S. senators is because they were able to use social media, and they were able to speak directly to constituents that were hungry for something different.
Yeah, well, no, that certainly makes sense, and hopefully they're strong enough to do it. I know that Newt Gingrich on stage, even during the debates last time around, he was really the only one not afraid to take on the questioners from the who were asking the questions to the debaters and saying that's ridiculous. I mean, Maria Bartiromo, I remember he said that to her once, and I think you got to really call that out. And Romney, of course, missed that opportunity with Candy. He let Candy Crowley get away with that. All right, so who do you see? Who else excites you that's a prospective candidate out there and that is likely to announce? Who do you like out there?
Obviously watch Scott Walker, and he's had a couple tough weeks, but I think he's a formidable candidate. He's got a great record as governor. Marco Rubio is going to announce next week. He's a natural, charismatic politician.
With a great story.
With a great story. And that's really the point of what we've done in the last 4 to 5 years. We've repopulated the entire presidential field, with the exception of someone like Jeb Bush, who is that dusty...
You mean the Hispanic?
Well, he came out and clarified.
Well,
today.
he said he made a mistake. I just don't see how you make that mistake. But that's what
Well,
my
if
opinion,
Elizabeth
yeah.
Warren did it, I guess it's okay for him.
Yeah, I don't know if she checked the box or not. And Hillary. I mean, do you? I mean, it's good. It looks like it's good to be Hillary. But are you welcoming that challenge because she's such a flawed candidate, or are you frightened of that challenge to an extent?
Oh, I think if it's someone like Rand Paul against Hillary Clinton, she's toast
Well,
because
look at Florida now and look at Pennsylvania
Yeah.
now. That indicates.
and she becomes sort of that dusty old candidate, that recycled candidate. I'm not so sure that she becomes a Democratic nominee for the same reason she didn't win in 2008. The Democratic Party is just as decentralized and democratized today as the Republican Party
Right.
is. Republicans are a little bit slower to get
Yeah.
the game,
Yeah.
but they're catching up too.
Well, somebody would have to have the courage to take her on, and there might be an O'Malley out there and maybe someone else, but so far we don't have anybody announced. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you,
Always
sir.
great to see you. All right, folks, coming up next, the Malzberg panel. But first, and by the way, on the Malzberg panel, another FreedomWorks representative, so don't miss that.